All right,
as the kids would say.
Let's not waste any more time as we bring in our first guest today. So pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Orange, Adrian Autry, brought to you every week by Oswego County Mutual and by Labatt. Coach, great win Tuesday night. How you feeling today?
Getting ready for the next game, man. You can't enjoy them too much. You got to get ready for the next game. But I was excited with the way we responded, and it was big. It was a big It was a big character statement for our team. I was proud of the guys.
About that because I do think you and your coaches and the players deserve a lot of credit for turning around in 72 hours. Nothing went right against North Carolina. You lose by 36, and to be able to come back and win another road game 72 hours later. Can you take us through that 3-day stretch and how the guys handled the loss and obviously seemed to move on from it to the point where you really played one of your best games of the season on Tuesday night?
Yeah, I think we had to, our approach was, some people say, hey, forget about it, throw it away. I thought we did a good job of really just diving into it. Hey, what went wrong? This is what went wrong. Trying to address some of the issues. And I thought they responded, and I thought we handled it and responded the right way you should, not in a immature way, but in a mature way, so to speak. We looked at the film. As soon as we got back off the plane, we looked at the film. We addressed some things. Obviously, there was a little bit of positive things in there, but we had to look at the things that we need to improve on. And why did that game play out that way? We wanted to compete a little bit better. We all were disappointed. We thought we would have competed a little bit better in that game, and it didn't happen. Being able to kind of sit and look at that, I thought we had a really great approach the next couple of days in practice and a focus, and I think it carried over into the game.
What was at the top of the list, if you don't needed to be addressed after that North Carolina game?
I just think our attention to detail, our game plan. We always have a game plan going into a game, and I always want to make sure we all have clarity on the game plan and how we want to do it. And now let's go out and execute. And I thought that was some of it. And then offensively, I thought we got sped up. We talked about, slowing down, making teams work a little bit more. We took a lot of quick shots in the North Carolina game. So we just kind of want to address those issues.
You look at the Pitt game, and I said this on the show yesterday about, 1 through 8 in your rotation, like the 8 main guys. I thought every individual guy did something positive in that game to impact it and to help, produce the outcome. A guy like Justin Taylor hitting a couple threes. Kyle Cuff made a couple of big baskets for you. J.J. Starling obviously was awesome. How important was it for those kinds of guys who, some of them have been quiet of late, Justin Taylor, Kyle Cuff maybe in particular, but to have a big hand in the win, how can that help everybody, I guess, moving forward?
Again, we talk about, this team, and then we talk about their depth, and it's been talked about from day one, from July, and obviously with the games being played, that's what, the media talks about and sees and recognizes. So it's always good to have them contribute and be a part of it. We got talented guys. They all can come in and do something, and they've all kind of bought into their role. And again, sometimes they're going to, have a scoring impact, but sometimes it's just defense, it's just energy, different little things that they impact. But to be able to, put, multiple guys in the scoring column, that always is a plus for any team.
7 different guys made threes. I can't remember the last time I saw that. What stands out to you about that? I mean, is this team maybe a better three-point shooting team than they've showed to this point?
It is. I just think some of our shot selections and some of the ball movement has made us take tougher three-point shots. End of the clock three-point shots, quick three-point shots. I thought the Pittsburgh game, we got all really good shots. We drove in, someone dagged, we spaced out, and we got it to him. We can shoot the ball better. Justin Taylor's a better shooter. What he has. And again, all shooters go through slumps. Kyle Cuff is a good shooter. Judah has improved his shot. Cartier has improved his shot. JJ's improved. But I think it's the type of shots that you get. And I thought Pittsburgh was the first game in a long time that we really got good shots.
Coach, you mentioned Kyle Cuff. We were discussing a couple days ago on the show, he kind of just snuck in under the radar as a transfer, and nobody really knows what he is and what kind of player he is. If you had to do a scouting report on Kyle Cuff, what would you describe him as?
Tough, defender, aggressive on both ends. He's going to look to have an impact. I think his game is, and people don't want to say, he reclassed up. So when he came out of his high school years, and then he was injured. So he's been away from basketball, and he's starting to get better. He's starting to round into form. But a guy that's aggressive, he's a downhill guy. He's, I call him like a little pit bull. He's very, very aggressive, and I love it. I love his aggressiveness, on both ends of the floor.
Does he have the best hops on the team, by the way?
When he's up there, People haven't really seen him. People really haven't seen him get off the floor yet. He's starting to round that out, and you're starting to see that start to take place. But even some of the few blocks that he's had early on in the year, and some of the plays, the rebounds, he just goes after it. So, but he has some hops now. He's an explosive athlete.
He's up there quite literally.
Yeah, watching him
there.
try and rebound is crazy sometimes.
Yeah. Coach, I do want to ask you about Naheem McLeod. You announced after the game on Tuesday, unfortunately, he had to have surgery. He's out for the season. How does that impact the 5 position? Because, Malik Brown's been great, but I'd imagine, it's not an ideal scenario for him to play 40 minutes night in and night out. That's probably not realistic. So where do you guys go with the center? Is it Benny? Is it Peter Carey, Munir? Is it a combination of all of them? Where do you kind of go next with the 5?
I think we have a chance to kind of mix it up a little bit, like you just said. Obviously, Naheem was a big part of what we were doing. I don't know why everyone was going so crazy. He was playing, 15, 16 solid quality minutes. And so, but moving forward, you can play depending on the team. Depending on the matchups, you can get Munir in there every now and then. You can get Peter Carey in there. You can get Benny in there. So we have a couple of different ways that we can go, and we work on those, and we practice in those different combinations in practice anyway. So, we have some options there.
Coach, there was a moment in the Pitt game I wanted to ask you about. Coach Saddlein described it before Matt Park even had a chance to. He yelled, "Good for you, Benny." When Benny Williams rushed over and defended his teammate, how do you handle that as a coach where he picks up a tee, but that dude's stepping on Quadir Copeland? How do you handle that as a coach?
Well, I'm always, we're a family. You don't want to see anything like that. And I think it's a way that you can do it. I think you can, protect your teammate without getting a technical foul, and I think in those situations, you just don't want things to escalate. It's a basketball game. You don't want anyone to get hurt. I hate when you see, stuff like that. It's emotional, and those things happen. But I just, when you get into those situations, for me, is I just don't want it to get blown out of hand, and then I don't want us to cause us to lose a game as well. So we got to have some type of, togetherness, but some type of patience and some type of, thought behind it. Don't lose sight of the game.
Right, but the question is but it's also a thing, it shows the camaraderie on this team, right? Benny's up there defending his dudes.
Oh yeah, I mean we're a close-knit team. We spend a lot of time together, and obviously that's the response that you want to have. You don't want someone standing over your play and no one goes to his rescue. Again, so we are a close-knit group. So it's always good to see that response. We always talk, when someone falls down, something happens, we go over there and help them up, help your teammate out.
And there's one more part of this. I get the opportunity to see these guys walking into the locker room at halftime and post game. You're coming off that UNC loss and you play a big rotation of players. There's always one guy that isn't going to get the minutes he normally gets, or, get minutes in a game just because of how the game's going. And these guys are always talking each other up. And how do you keep guys like Chris Bell only played 2 minutes in the second half? How do you keep those guys up when that's happening, but you're winning?
I think we talked about it, and it's hard. Everyone's emotional in a minute at that time. Again, none of those things, I'm not going to sit and say those things don't happen and people are disappointed, but I think the biggest thing is how you address it, how you move forward with it. I think everyone has been on, at some point in time during this season, has been on been in that situation. I think Quade's been in that situation earlier. Chris was in a situation. Justin Taylor's been in that situation. Benny's been in that situation. Even Judah's been in that situation to a certain extent. But it's about the team, and I think these guys understand what we're trying to do. We're trying to win, and we're trying to win at the highest level. We're trying to win every game, and all these guys play every game. So I think it's a lot easier to kind of move past, especially if you're winning. But those things happen, and that's what happens when you have depth. And we talked about that. These guys understand that. We talk about playing 8 and 9 guys, and before we all started this season, they all understood that.
Paulie brought up that Chris Bell only played 2 minutes of the second half. I know there was some concern among the fan base that maybe he tweaked something on that dunk right at the end of the first half. Is he physically okay? Is there anything that fans need to be worried about with Chris Bell?
No, Chris Bell is fine. Again, it was just, as a coach, you make some decisions, but Chris Bell did nothing wrong. He was actually playing really, really well. But we had a group that kind of came in there and kind of stabilized us, and that happens. I just felt comfortable with that group, and that just happens. But he played well. I mean, he was efficient. He scored 10 points. So for him, he's probably a little bit frustrated, but at least his confidence is not down. He played well. And now it's on to Miami.
Yeah, 3 games in a row now that he shot the ball well, and you said it's on to Miami. So our last question, Coach, what can you tell us about this Hurricanes team? They've lost 3 of 4. They're in a little bit of a rough patch, but we know they're talented. We know they're going to come here with some desperation to try and get back on track. How do you see this matchup against the Hurricanes?
This team is an explosive team. They're one of the most explosive teams offensively in the league and in the country. They got 4 or 5 guys that shoot high 40s from 3-point range. They're a veteran group. They bring back a lot of guys. So this will be a tough challenge for us. And again, their 2 or 3 game, stretches, they lose, about 5 points or 4 points. So again, they're not playing that bad. They just came out on a couple of came out short on the short end of a couple of close losses. But an explosive team, a veteran team. They've been together for a couple of years, so this will be a challenge for us.
All right, keep it up. Guys are playing well, 12-5 now. It'll be a noon tip on Saturday inside the Dome. Red, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Adrian Autry, brought to you every week by Oswego County Mutual and by Labatt.
Hey, Steve, did you know that he does a coach's show every Thursday night?
Yes.
At Carrabba's, thanks to our friends at Learfield. And then he does a half-hour Q&A on our very own Q Sports Talk. If you would like to go to that show tonight, our friends at Carrabba's are offering you $25 in a gift card towards your dinner. If you are caller 5 right now, 315-437-7644, and you want to go, you got to go to the show tonight. And you want to go, we got a $25 gift card for you to enjoy at the show tonight.
It's a great deal.
Yeah. Bring the family, the kids. Coach Autry signs autographs. It's great. He'll talk to you during commercial breaks. It's a good time. Food's good. Show's good. So if you want to go tonight and want a $25 gift card you can use for it.
I heard it's a very well-produced show.
Oh, the audio is beautiful.
Is crystal clear.
The audio, you know what we'll also do? You know what I'll also do? Uncle Paulie's feeling frisky. I'll throw in a pair of tickets to the Miami game, but you got to go to the show tonight.
I love it.
All right? Thank you.
315-437-7644. Caller 5?
Caller 5, caller 1, whatever.
Let's do it.
Depends on what Jordan wants to do.
Back after this on ESPN Radio.